Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Chaos-Reighn, and today I'm going to bring you part 2 in the crash course into Syndicate. This video is going to be short but sweet. I'm going to show you a showcase of, not a showcase, but basically going to show you what you're going to do for the first couple of maps, what you're going to look for, how you're going to start setting up your Syndicate from zero. Now, as you saw in my last video, I explained to you what watchstones you need to roll. I explained to you what Katarina benefits are, and why you should be farming her, and why you should be leveling your characters to tier 3 before running Katarina, and so on and so forth. So Katarina, if I didn't explain it, upgrades every single character by 1 tier. If it's tier 3 and it gives Gilded Scarabs, it'll go to tier 4 and give Winged. Now this works for every single person in every single house, except I believe the only one that doesn't really work is that Fled. I think he just gets 1 bench, or maybe he just has 2 benches. I don't know. Ever since they nerfed at that Fled, I don't really find him very fun to farm, so I don't really care. But we're gonna go over what you're gonna look for, who you're gonna look for, and what you're gonna want to place in what houses. So first, we're gonna show you, like, right now we have 545 June missions, so we have plenty of June missions. Excuse me, that's my neighbor. Yeah, you probably heard that. My neighbors are like that, unfortunately. So, as you see, we have 545 June missions. We have more than enough to sit here and just chain run June for the foreseeable future. And on top of that, we have methods to farm even more June missions very, very easily. Now, there is an insane amount of currency to be had in doing June. As I said in my last video, you will, and I mean will, get a lot of requests for Aisling slams, for Varici white sockets, and for 30 quality in gear. If you can help it, you should always focus on getting that, just in case. So, we're going to show you real quick what you're going to look for, and basically how to get started on setting up your houses. So, as a general consensus, you're going to look for a couple of people in particular. If you see these people, one is June, one is Aisling, not June, one is Aisling, one is Hillock, one is Varici, and the last one, at a lesser extent, is that Fled. Now, the first 3 are the 3 that you mainly really want to see all the time, right? You want to see these guys no matter what. Doesn't matter when, where, or how, you want to see them. So basically, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to manipulate your board. If you didn't know, there are 18 members, or I believe it's 18, and there's only 15 slots. So there's always going to be a set number of people you will not see in that rotation. So basically, this is a good example. See how Arion's 1 star and Tora is 0? So Tora, this is Intervention. Intervention is the one for Scarabs. We don't really care about Intervention all that much, but what we're going to do is we're going to actually execute Tora, so she moves to Intervention. That way we can guarantee her in that slot, and then we're going to see what he has. It says Arion is removed from the Immortal Syndicate. Well, just because we don't, excuse me, we don't know who the rest of the board is, we are going to do it, and we're going to get another question mark. Whenever someone is removed, Jesus, or kicked out, you always have a question mark come in, and question mark's the new person. It's always someone that isn't the person you just removed, so it's always good to check. Now that we have this set up, we don't really need to finish the map, but we're going to finish the map anyway, just out of, just out of principle and trying to spawn Cyrus and all that good stuff, just to kind of show you what it's like, right? Let's go ahead and kill this stupid thing. Alright, did we get a mission? We didn't get a mission. We move on with our lives. Normally, I would never say remove your first person like that when you're first encounter. However, because we don't know who anyone else is and we know Arion's there, we want to kind of increase the odds of encountering the people that we don't know who they are, so on and so forth. So, now we're going to enter another map. We put on the June mission, and we're just going to go at it again and see who we can find. Now, your goal for the first few maps is going to be to execute people as much as you can. If you don't know what houses they go into, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Just for now, execute people and put them where you can. Just the main names, which is, again, Varici, Hillock, Aisling, and that Fled, to a lesser extent. You need to save those aside and move them into the proper houses. Aisling, Varici, and that Fled are both very, 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 very good in research. You almost exclusively want them in research. To my knowledge, they don't really do much for you in any other house. So let's see here. So we have another random encounter. Oh, here he is. Who do we have? We have Tora. And I think that's it, right? Yeah, Tora. So Tora came in by herself. Tora and Guff become trusted. So see how we have no one on the board? Well, now we know there's Guff on the board. Where's Guff? That is Guff. So we know Guff is right there. And we know Tora is right here. So we know two of the people. We know neither of these two are neither of the four names, so we don't really care. Now we're going to go in, fight the boss, and then finish our map. Sorry if this seems a little bit slow. I can actually make it quicker. Let me do this Harbinger belt on. And I'll start getting super speed soon. Where is the bosses of the map? Did I kill the bosses? I don't think I killed the bosses. I don't care about the Harbingers. I just want to get to the end of the map. I think it's over here somewhere. It is. Okay. So we found the end of the map. Now we can just come over here and bam, bam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Please die. Why aren't you dead? Alright, cool. Boss is dead. Looks like we got an invitation for Valdo's Rest. Now we do this. I accidentally... There we go. And we go back into it. So whenever you see things in your early setup, make sure you look. Make sure you pay close attention to who you have. If you remember who goes where, even better. If you can't remember, that's fine. Just try to. It's not going to be that hard to remember some of the names. And once you get used to the names, they'll start popping out at you. It'll literally be like, oh, that guy's good. Oh, that guy's bad. And it'll come second nature as you move along and go on with your gameplay. So let's go ahead and check out what else we can do for this syndicate. I'm only going to run 1 or 2 more maps to give you a bare basic setup, and then I will wait until I'm able to record another video, which this is going to be cut short just because I do have a time limit this time around, and I will show you what I can, and I will move on to creating the new video probably sometime tomorrow. This video will be a separate series than what I normally post, which is just like my progress report, my farming methods. This is a series that was requested by someone. All right, here we go. So we have encountered another couple syndicate members, 2 different members, Leo and Haku. So this is in transportation. Transportation, you usually don't care about anyone in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first go here. We're going to move Haku to transportation. By doing this, we ensure that transportation has 2 members, and then, oh, I like that amulet, and that we can just kind of continue from there. This just gives us free transportation intelligence. So on top of the 6 we got, if you remember my old video, we also get an extra bonus for doing anything that isn't executing. So, or imprisoning, I'm sorry. So since we didn't imprison, we got 6 extra points, and that gave us 12 points instead of 6 to give him that bargain. So it was worth it. We move on, we go to the boss, bam, bam, dead, move on, cool. I did it again. Alright, so we got a Nico mission back, which is good, because we're actually farming Nico for Azurite, which I've already made a video on how to do that. I do recommend, if you do want to farm Azurite, but never want to enter the Delve, please check it out, it's very, very much worth it. So, gonna do 1 more map, and then hopefully I can get a little bit further into how this setup works. Now, unfortunately, there's no real easy way to explain the setups on Syndicate. The setups are always going to be mixed and matched, and you're not always going to get the right people. Often, you're going to get people you don't care about in places you don't care about, and you're going to have to learn how to remove them. I will get into that as the time comes. Hopefully the time doesn't come where that happens, but if it does happen, I will get into it and explain how to change things around. I don't know why I'm stopping for this guy. I'm gonna move on. What do we have? We have transportation. So because we have transportation, again, that's good. If you remember, our transportation house was almost full, and we want that. We want to be able to know who our leader of transportation is, because if it's one of the people we're looking for, we want them not to be in transportation, because no matter what person or what house or what leader they are, they don't need to be in there. They need to be somewhere else. So alright, I can't seem to find the transportation to save my life. Or the boss room for that matter. Well, looks like the boss and the transportation are in the same room. Let's go ahead and just do what we can to kill the boss as fast as possible. We killed the boss. Alright, Haku and Leo again. So now we go to Leo. See how he's 1 star? Because we took the notable, we actually execute him, and he goes immediately to 3 stars. Now Haku will give us a different option. He moves to intervention, Tora moves to transportation. Well, we know who they are, Tora and Haku. We don't really care on where they are, so we're just going to release him. To release him, if you look on screen, for this it says L3 to release target. On PC, I'm unsure exactly how you do it, but I do know there's an option to do it on PC. So now we will get into the end of the rounding off this video and the end of the first part of the setup of your syndicate safe houses and how to get your Katarina set up perfectly. So real quick, before we continue, I'm going to go over. As you see, Katarina has 0 intelligence, but this house is ready to run. Now, we can do 2 things. First, first option is we can run it, see who's in it. If it's a person we don't need, obviously they're not going to be there anymore, and we can move them to the house they do need to be in. 2, we can leave it alone, and we can leave it locked. Now, what happens if you leave it locked is you get a 3 or 4 map reprieve. I believe it's 3 maps reprieve to where you do not encounter transportation. This means I will only encounter fortification, research, and intervention for 3 maps. And that will mean I can just sit there and basically work on the intelligence. However, because right here we have 0% of our Katarina, we want to actually run this because we want to get Katarina rounded up and ready to go as soon as possible. As soon as we can get this one up, we're going to knock this one out too, just so we can not only see this person, but this person, and by the time both of these 2 are done, she'll be ready to go. So then we won't have to worry about that, and we can focus on seeing who else is on our board and, you know, who has to be moved where. So let's go ahead and run our safe house, and we're going to go and show you just real quickly what it's like to run, you know, a simple safe house and what you're going to look at, and, you know, just like the pros, cons, benefits, so on and so forth. Now, if you remember correctly, we had 2 question marks in our safe house. This is a good way to find out who's in your house is by running the safe house itself. First and foremost, the leader is going to be the big guy that you encounter. Secondly, there's one person you don't know who it is, but he's in this safe house. So if you remember, we should have Leo and Haku. So Leo and Haku are the 2 knowns, and there are 2 unknowns in your safe house. So basically from here, you have to take this knowledge, this active knowledge, and you have to figure out who else is in the safe house. So now I'm gonna just go ahead and kind of keep doing that. Drop this. I want to drop a portal, and I'm just gonna dance around and try and show you. So we have Riker. Riker is not one we care about, but now that we know it's him, that's fine. So we're gonna see Riker. We're gonna go ahead and apply a bleed to him. We have Riker here. Riker gets joined by Leo, Haku, Gravicius. Okay, so now we know 2 of them. We know Riker and Gravicius. Now, just because you saw Gravicius doesn't mean he's going to show up. If we go right here and we see he gives the options to interrogate Riker for mastermind intelligence, Gravicius is that question mark, but we don't know who he is. We don't know, you know, it's still question mark for us, but that's Gravicius. So now that we know who he is, otherwise, we literally can just kind of ignore all 4 people in this house and work on every other house. So now we're going to go ahead and interrogate. Everything gets shuffled around. One of the question marks gets moved here, probably Riker, or no, not Riker, Gravicius. And then we have, I believe he was the second in command, and then we have a couple more question marks to kind of deal with over here. So now let's see, did he drop anything? He didn't drop anything. We're going to real quickly go in here, see what we get. We got a couple cards. Looks like this is just a complete set of div cards. It's kind of cool, I guess. This is nothing. Nothing. I don't know what this is supposed to give, but it didn't give anything. We got some prophecies. The master seeks help with Nico. Serious invaders. And Upgrade prophecy, we have too many of those. And the leader gave us take an item. Currency. We'll take the chaos orbs because chaos orbs are good. Trap stash. We'll wait for it. As you see, we have 3 trap stashes in our safe house, but it's only 2, I think, in the otherwise. We'll take the alts because alts are pretty good. We'll wait for a second. Open up the next one. Nope. Open up the next one. And we'll take the chaos orb again. All in all, we didn't get a whole lot, right? This wasn't really a big haul of a safe house, but we did get to find out some important information in the span of about 3 or 4 maps. We already know, maybe like 5, we already know who a lot of the people in our syndicate is. Now, that is huge. That means we know who, we know all of who we're going to encounter in this house, all of who we're going to encounter as far as these people, because none of them have been removed from the syndicate. So we have a kind of a broad knowledge of whoever we have on our board and how many slots left on the board that we have to encounter the last members of the syndicate that we're looking for. Now I'll say this one more time, and I'll repeat this throughout every single video so you guys get it. We want Hillock. Hillock goes in the first 2 houses. Doesn't matter which house, either one is good. If he's in the first house, it is weapon upgrade to 30%. If he's in the second house, it is armor upgrade to 30%. We need Iceling. Iceling is in research. If Iceling is in research, he gives you what is called an Iceling modifier. Iceling modifiers are basically something that's a super buffed modifier. It's like an Exalt Slam, but it's a super buffed targeted Exalt Slam that is almost always going to give you something decent, and a lot of times give you something meh. So, as such, what I recommend you do is you focus Iceling in research. Third thing is Varici in research. Varici in research gives you white sockets 1 to 6 at rank 4. 1 to 6 at rank 4 gives you a really big chance to get something really cool, like 4 white, 5 white, 6 whites on an item, or even 4 white on your 4 slot item. And then lastly is It That Fled in research. That allows you to upgrade breach stones. Pretty self-explanatory. Well, without further ado, this is part 2 of my Syndicate series. Thank you so much for watching. I will get back to you and definitely get you more information soon. I have to go. That honking, if you heard it, was my wife, and I have to be partying. So thank you very much. As always, stay cool, everybody. Have a good night.